Welcome everybody. This is the regular monthly meeting of the Woodbridge Police Commission. It's 4:02 on Monday, February 9th, and we will start the meeting with the first agenda item, approval of the minutes for our prior meeting of January 12th. So is there anybody who's got any comments, corrections, additions, deletions? Or
Nope.
no? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion to approve
So
the
moved.
minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. I don't see anybody here from the public. Did we receive any written correspondence? No. So we're zooming right along into review of reports. Chief, turn to you on the financial report side.
Yes, sir. So as of the end of the first week in February, which is a little more than 7 months into this fiscal year, the police department has utilized 69% of our budget. According to my calculations, by the end of February, we should be in the vicinity of 67%, so we're a bit above where we need to be. Our overtime budget is at 172%, which is again due to contractual minimum staffing requirements. We currently have one budgeted vacancy that is unfilled, and 2 of our newly hired officers are in field training and are not counted towards contractual staffing until they pass their training. During the year, we've had 4 vacancies and 2 officers out on long-term injury. So this greatly contributed to our overtime budget. We still have 1 officer out on long-term injury. Additionally, we've had several weather-related events that increased our overtime hiring. So we've had a few snowstorms, and we've had to hire a few more people. The dispatch overtime line is at 132%, and this is partially due to 1 long-term work-related injury, as well as 2 retirements in the hiring and training of 2 dispatchers. Once dispatcher Nicole Toth is cleared to work independently, which will be very shortly, it should slow the overtime line. And if you look at our overtime activity hours on the graph that we provided, basically our patrol coverage voluntary is our big item at 109 hours. Otherwise, we actually did fairly well in the month of January. Tony Genovese even contacted me and stated that we did very well this month. So I think with the addition of Brent Zuskin, which we were able to count as toward our staffing, that's helped us considerably. Once we get these other 2 officers trained and we count them as staffing, I think we're going to have a pretty good slowdown in our overtime.
Sounds good. Couple of comments and a suggestion or 2. First of all, as Chris and I were walking in, we did meet our 2 new officers in the hallway. So we saw Officer Robert Wong, and we also saw Evan Weiner. And they both had big smiles on their face and were delighted that they were now dressed and getting their additional on-site training. That was very nice to see. On the overtime, the numbers that you're describing sound like good news. I have 2 thoughts on the presentation. One is it might be a good idea to label the month that the overtime hours are in. But what occurs to me about a report like this, that I'm always curious to sort of see, like we've done in other ways that information is shared, how does it compare over time? Is there some way we might be able to sort of see a month-over-month view of these things so that?
Yeah, we could put something together where we track our overtime, where it goes month to month. Each line item, certainly we could do that.
Great. I think that that would be very helpful. And sort of to your point about that Tony noticed, this is down this month, and on the inside, you guys know this from the staffing complement and things like that, but it would be so crystal clear and visible that we could sort of track what are the things that might influence
Yeah, absolutely.
overtime activity. Great. Anybody have any other things you want to ask the chief or deputy on budget-related issues?
Go.
And do you want to address the animal control budget during this part of things, or when we get to animal control? I know when the commissioners were at the budget presentation, it was clear Tony was saying, since this is a recent transition over to the Woodbridge Department, to the police department, he sort of took the lead in offering the information to the finance committee and to the selectmen. So.
Yeah, it'd probably be better to, we're still getting ourselves involved with the animal control budget, so, he has more information about that than we do, even though, we've overtaken the animal control budget, so there's not a lot I can speak about it on.
Are you, the contract with the other participating towns resides with Town Hall, or is that?
Town Hall, yes.
So they do the negotiation?
Yes, with the 4 towns.
Do you have a copy of the contract or have input to that?
I don't know.
Feels like that would be, I think, a useful thing.
Yeah, what we have done as part of that is that we started coming up with data as to what the veterinary costs have been per town, and we're currently breaking down the overtime that we're spending per town. So we can actually, if we put down the overtime and the veterinary cost, we can see really are we being paid enough per town by our data.
Great. 'Cause, that's what it felt like, being sure we had adequate funds to do everything that was needed was really going to require a revisit to what were the terms of that contract, as we've now gotten involved in doing things in slightly different ways, etc. So I'm glad to hear that. That's good news. Okay. So maybe for the next meeting, Chief, we can, you'll have had a chance to look through the contract, because I think there may be a couple of things, particularly as the group of volunteers are moving forward on trying to develop the 501c3 for fundraising, but another dimension of adequate revenues to sustain the needs of animal control are the right contract and the right billings to the participating towns. And I don't think we've really looked at that ever, or at least in any time recently.
Yeah,
so it was good news to see you starting to.
Yeah, and Tony actually had, when we started providing statistics as to what kind of calls were going out on and adoptions and impoundments, he thought that that was helpful in his negotiations with the other towns. So he had that data also.
Great, nice work. Anything else on budget items then? No. So I would ask for a motion to approve the budget report by the chief.
Motion. Second.
All in favor? Thank you. And officer activity report.
During the month of January, Woodbridge police officers made 19 criminal arrests. This is a 90% increase from December. Individuals were arrested for the following charges: breach of peace, criminal trespass in the first degree, multiple counts, disorderly conduct, evading responsibility, there were multiple incidents, harassment, violation of a protective order, multiple counts, and violation of probation. So it was a very active month for the officers, criminally speaking, in January. 19 is a pretty significant number. With regards to the Investigative Services Unit, during the month of January, the Investigative Services Unit investigated 4 new incidents. There was a stolen motor vehicle investigation. The vehicle was stolen from an Amity Road service station. The keys were inside of the vehicle, which was left running. The vehicle was recovered in West Haven, and our detectives processed the vehicle. The investigation's continuing. There was a fraud investigation where a resident had his bank account compromised and items from his Amazon account were shipped to New York. A third incident, which was a very significant incident, there was a robbery, carjacking, and evading responsibility investigation. There was an armed robbery, street robbery that occurred in Bridgeport. I believe it was involving a machete. The suspect's vehicle fled on the interstate, exiting off of the Route 15 ramp into Woodbridge. It was being pursued by Connecticut State Police and Bridgeport Police. The fleeing vehicle, which was being pursued by other agencies, struck a UPS truck in Woodbridge. One of the suspects then attempted to carjack a passing motorist on the Litchfield Turnpike. Detectives have submitted arrest warrants to the court for the 2 subjects. So these 2 subjects were arrested that day. We are going to have robbery charges and evading responsibility charges, amongst other things. Lastly, we had a burglary investigation. There was an apartment located on Metler Street which was forcibly entered. The victim of the burglary was incarcerated at the time. Crime scenes process and the investigation is continuing. Detectives are continuing to investigate a sexual assault complaint that occurred in November. Reports in an arrest warrant affidavit are being finalized and being presented to the court, so we expect to make an arrest on that case. Detectives fingerprinted 8 individuals and conducted 1 pistol permit investigation. With regards to the school resource officer, the school resource officer assisted the Amity Regional High School administration in hosting a Secure the School drill for students and staff. The goal of the drill was to assess the school's response to dealing with a threat from the outside, or from outside of the school. The drill was deemed successful, and our SRO is currently working with the school counselor to provide instruction on constitutional law and search and seizure Fourth Amendment issues. Also, with regards to Amity Regional High School, they would like to be involved in our internship program. So Deputy Chief Quinn will be interviewing a handful of students to see who we select for the internship. That's been done in the last handful of years. It's been successful.
Great. Can I ask a question?
Yep.
What do interns do here?
We have them basically, they'll go on patrol, sign a waiver form, go on patrol, not get out of the car, obviously. They'll sit in dispatch away from the computer, so they're not looking at the screen, but to see how dispatch works. Sometimes we have them doing some filing work for us, record keeping type of work. They'll work with the detectives to see how, talk to the detectives as to how they process crime scenes and things of that sort. So not really get involved in any incidents per se, but it's about a 10-week or so course, and we usually select someone that's interested in going into law enforcement. So
this is done with the school. They help with the interviews as well, so they have a voice in the selection.
Is it one intern or several?
we'd like to take more if we could. I mean, we've been historically taking one, but if there's like a second candidate, I wouldn't be opposed to doing that.
Is this part of an academic credit or credential through the high school, and this is simply a part of that, or is this something ancillary to that at all, or do you know?
I think they receive some sort of credit because their internship program, there's many. They can intern in many different employment type things. Like there were fire departments, police departments, carpentry, electric. There was a whole bunch of different things. So, yeah.
Chief, I'm familiar, just from kids going through the school recently, that they have a almost sort of a mandatory internship program for seniors in the last half of the spring semester. Is this part of that? Or
Yes,
it is.
That's
yeah.
exactly what it is. It's seniors spring semester. Yes.
Great. It's a great program.
And they seem to like it. Actually, the interns, I've been a part of the background investigations, and they reported to me in the past, and it's a successful program.
Now with Evan Weiner recently joining us, maybe over time we can figure out, once he gets really sort of grounded here, he could be part of our recruiting and showcasing.
Sure.
Certainly.
That'd be a good thing. Sure.
Absolutely. So, the traffic report, I'm going to have Deputy Chief Quinn advise us.
Good evening, Commissioners. During the month of January, members of the Woodbridge Police Department conducted 82 motor vehicle stops. There were 279 radar speed enforcements and 367 deterrent traffic safety patrol. There were 41 motor vehicle accidents during the month of January. This is an 8% increase from December. For motor vehicle accidents with injuries, there were 8. For motor vehicle accidents with no injuries, there were 33. 10 of the motor vehicle accidents occurred on Amity Road. 4 motor vehicle accidents occurred on Rimmon Road. During the month of February, speed and traffic enforcement should focus on the following locations: Amity Road, Baldwin Road, Johnson Road, Litchfield Turnpike, North Racebrook Road, and Rimmon Road. That's it for the traffic.
Anybody have comments on the monthly statistics or the officer activity? So one of the things I struggle with as I look at the reports is trying to make sense of how to train my eye, and particularly to follow, as you all have started to elaborate things in your reporting out to us. So I find myself looking at one page trying to find where you might be or not. So I'm shooting from the hip in this comment. Is there some way, perhaps on the call description, that the things that are most important are bold colored, or some way that it draws our attention? Otherwise, it's a very dense page of descriptions and numbers, and it's helpful to see the longitudinal display of numbers over time. I like that part, but I do have trouble either myself trying to just, before meetings, make sense of what's super important in all of the categories, or to be able to follow the conversation when we're here together and you're reporting. So, am I making sense?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. So on this monthly statistic page, basically, what we could do, there's certain incidents that are very important to the police department. Family violence, that would be something important. Any type of felony, if we had a robbery, a burglary, a sexual assault, that would be something that would be very important. So there's a handful that we're really concerned about those particular statistics. A lot of the other things don't happen very often, and we don't really concern ourselves as much as we do with some of the other things. So what we could do, when you get your packet, it'd be something as simple as highlighting things that we're looking at.
Yeah.
Things that are important to us.
Right. That'd be
We
great.
measure our success by keeping down, say, trespassing down near the New Haven line, or we measure our success by stopping larcenies from motor vehicles if people are breaking into cars. So those are the types of crimes that we look more into that we have here in Woodbridge. So
Could
it'd
be
just
helpful,
be a
yeah.
matter of highlighting it, I think.
Great. I'd welcome that. Anybody else have commentary on?
I was just going to add, if it would be of assistance to the chief and the deputy chief, the whole area of data visualization is something we do very well at the university, and I'd be more than happy to connect you with some people where we could probably turn this data into something a lot more informative than just a spreadsheet, if that would be helpful.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
we'll do that offline, but there's a whole, I don't want to say science to it because I consider it more of an art form, but it's a way of representing data visually that can really tell us things that a simple spreadsheet will tell us, but to Bob's point, you have to look a lot harder and you have to dig a lot farther, so, but I'll connect you with
Thank
that
you.
later. Sure,
Great.
no problem.
Thank you, David.
No problem.
Hearing no further comments, I'll look for a motion to approve the officer activity report.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Okay.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Jess. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Animal control report.
Absolutely. So the month of January 26, we had a total call of service for 88 calls. Woodbridge had 37, Bethany had 17, Beacon Falls had 5, and Seymour had 29. No infractions this month, 4 written warnings, 3 verbals, and no criminal arrests. Number of animals we impounded in the month of January were 14. We had 10 dogs, 3 cats, and we had 1 bunny. We had 4 adoptions, 2 of them being dogs, 1 of them being cat, and 1 of them the bunny. We had an increase in impounds the month of January. I think, honestly, it was with the snow. A lot of people, and with the wind, we had power outages, and a lot of people had problems with their electric fences. So more dogs were escaping the yards unknowingly. So we did have a lot of impound dogs that went home the same day or the next day. So our impounds were up a little bit. And then we had the bunny that was found. It was abandoned. We did not get any information where it came from. It was a lot bear, very cute. We got it into a rescue. So he is doing great. He's fully vetted now, and he's up at a rescue looking for adoption. And then the Shar-Pei that we took in also went to a rescue. We transported it up to North Windham to Northeast Cats. Due to the expense of the eyes, it had severe entropion in the eyes, so the rescue reached out to us and was willing to step up and help. So financially, we couldn't say no, because it would have been about $4,000 to $5,000 to treat the dog for surgery. So they took it, and we placed it with them on a voucher, and she got spayed already, and she had the surgery. And she's doing good, and she'll be up for adoption probably in the next month.
Great.
Yeah, so that saved us a big financial burden. We have an animal cruelty investigation going on with the Shar-Pei. We have a current process of a warrant, which we'll be trying to make an arrest. And that's really about it.
So I know at the last meeting, or at the end of the last meeting, David, you mentioned about a colleague of yours at UNH who was a nationally known
Oh, yeah.
expert in animal cruelty.
Animal cruelty
Given the-
investigations. Yeah, and it's something that is, if you're interested, I could probably, in terms of in terms of providing input, as
Yep.
opposed to, I mean, you're doing a great job, this isn't about that, it's just
Yeah.
about, there may be some things that we can help out in sort of pinpointing areas that need further investigation that might not be readily apparent, that her work might highlight.
No,
And so,
absolutely, yeah.
if you're interested,
Absolutely, yeah.
I'll definitely facilitate that. We've had a kind of a tumultuous time in the last few weeks, so I haven't had a chance to speak with her about this yet. But she, I feel comfortable that she would be interested, at least in communicating. So
Awesome, yeah.
I'll put that
Yeah.
together.
Great.
Just one clarification question.
Yeah.
I didn't catch how the eye surgery for the Shar-Pei, was it that a private party ended up financing it?
The rescue actually, they have like a 501(c)(3). They run on donations and everything, and so they put out a public plea, got more donations. And they took full responsibility. We adopted it out to them, and they're funding with their organization.
That's great,
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, they're very.
Yeah.
Joan Lamont is actually the founder of the organization. She was actually she's a retired ACO. She's a very good lady, and she reached out to us, and her trainer is actually a Shar-Pei lover. So once they saw her picture, they said, we 100% will step up. And I talked to Chief Smith, and I said, I think we have to go with it, because financially, it's a big burden, and her recovering in the shelter to recovering into a foster with their organization is just mentally better for the dog.
That's great, great work.
Yeah.
Nice. Other things to report, or things are,
No, that's pretty
Going
much
along
about
well?
it. Yeah,
Good.
everything's going good, and then, yeah, I think that's it.
She did save a possum too, which
Oh, I
I'm very
did.
happy. Well,
Yeah.
I like to mention that,
Two.
but a nice baby possum was saved because of Jess.
Yeah, so we've had a little bit with the cold weather advisories and everything, we've had a little bit of spike in wildlife. It was about 3 months old. It was probably born late November. It had frostbite on the tail and the ear, so we transported that up to a Hopalong Hollow with Linda. She's a wildlife rehabber, so he's up there with actually the other possum that we saved on November 21st. So we have 2 possums up there that will get released in the spring.
great,
Yeah.
nice. Excellent, thank you so much.
All right.
Any further questions for Jess? If not, I entertain a motion to approve the animal control report.
So move.
Second.
All in favor? Great. Thank you, and
Great.
as always, you're
No, thank
welcome
you.
to stay, but we know you've got lots to do,
Yeah.
and,
Thank you, have a good night.
all right, thanks. Back to you, chief.
Yes, sir. So for the report of the chief, the first thing is the building update. So our newly formed building committee will be meeting tomorrow, February 10th, to discuss potential renovations to this building. The committee has previously visited the North Branford Police Department to get ideas from those agencies that have gone through the building process. At the recent budget meeting, we discussed the dire need to improve this facility. As reported earlier, the building committee's top priorities are the locker room, bathrooms, and the prisoner detention area. During the past month since we met last, this building is continuing to deteriorate. We've had mechanical failures, within the building. Most of our staff that are working in the building, throughout the day, need portable heaters to stay warm because we've had a lack of heat. And also toilets in the cell block are very old and they need major repair and replacement. And it's supposedly, according to Brad from Public Works, it's a very major project. So things are continuing to break, and we're hoping to get started very soon on the renovations of this building.
So, a couple of things about the meeting tomorrow. I know, is Nigel Light going to be available for this meeting? Did he
He was
respond?
invited, yes.
Yeah, I believe so.
And I had a chance to speak with Tony Genovese, our administrative officer, who said he'd like to participate. Did he reach you about
He did. He said he
trying
couldn't
to
make it.
zoom in or something like that?
He didn't say that, no. He told me he wouldn't be able to make it. I talked to him this morning. Unless that changed, that he could zoom in, I'm not sure.
I think we can try and reach him. If we think it's valuable, I do. I think we want the town hall by our side moving this forward. But be that as it may, I spoke with him a little while ago, and he said he could join if we could Zoom him in, but he wasn't local tomorrow.
Okay, that's good to know.
And on the finances of things, and some of this is update on the grant that we were supposed to, that we had thought that we were in line for from Rosa DeLaura's office. That was a $1.85 million grant last year. It's my understanding that she resubmitted it again,
Oh, okay.
but at $1.35 million. Do we know anything more?
No, all I know is that that grant was supposed to be ticketed for an emergency operations center, which was for this area. So if we were to be able to secure that grant, in addition to what we talked about at the budget presentation, we'd be just that better off. Because that's one thing that we desperately need is emergency operations center, and updated. If we have a storm, we have some sort of emergency, this is the room we'd be utilizing, and we need a lot of equipment to really do our job properly.
And that would be for Woodbridge alone, Chief, not a regional town thing?
It would just be for Woodbridge, but, you know, we'd have other agencies here. We'd have the fire department here. We'd have United Illuminating, Water Authority, Gas Company. We could have other agencies here also. Yeah,
I see. So you could also coordinate well in times of emergency?
big time.
Great.
It's something that we desperately need.
Yeah.
What's your timing on that, do you know?
On the grant?
The 1.3, yeah.
I don't know,
idea.
no. I've been trying to reach their office to find out. Ordinarily, the grant that she submitted in 2025, ordinarily, it's about this time of the year that we would have heard or received the funding. So, but I don't know what that means relative to the 1.35 million that she's just submitted, whether that might be included in any current legislation that might get passed in Washington over the next few weeks, is it even as soon as that. Well, I think the most important thing from the commission's standpoint is the good news about budget presentation, which we'll hear about in a minute, and as it relates to the building update funding. But I just think we've got to strike while the iron's hot. Everybody appreciate, I think more and more people in town appreciate the work that's done by the police department, the overdue need to address facility issues, and as long as we keep that visible and moving forward, I think we'll finally get to the finish line of having a renovation plan over time that's going to serve the department and the town well. So nice work on the budget presentation. Where are we with that? And then you can talk about the especially good news at the capital budget presentation part of it.
Well, yeah, with regards to the budget presentation, on January 27th, Deputy Chief Quinn and I presented our operating capital budget to the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, First Selectman, and the Finance Director. The presentation went well, and it appeared to be well received. So, with the help of Tiffany, the team here, we put our minds to what we needed to say, what we needed to do. I think we were happy as to what we expressed as far as what we needed for capital-wise, building-wise, and the operating budget, which basically was just all raises. You know, we really didn't increase anywhere else. I mean, this is all just raises over the last 4 or 5 years where no one's had a raise. So we felt optimistic of our presentation and how everything went. So, but I also know from in the past, you could feel optimistic and all of a sudden, what did it really mean? So, you know, it's hard to, hard to put a finger on what's going to happen moving forward. I don't think the town is in a great financial position, or what we've been told anyway, so I don't know, did we hit pay dirt by any means, by helping us out? So, we'll see what happens.
Well, as I understand it, there is money in the budget for the architect planner. I don't know whether, is that person going to be at the meeting tomorrow?
I don't believe so.
I don't think they've hired anybody yet. Tony said they had a couple of proposals to look at.
Right,
They're
but there
trying
was
to get
some
the
money
per-
for the art.
Yeah, it was about 40,000,
Yeah.
he said, and they were trying to get somebody on board, hopefully by in March or April, he said, the latest.
Yes,
Because it feels to me that that's a critical
It is,
person,
yeah.
right? Because as soon as the internal group committee coalesces, then working with the architect, we can develop a longitudinal plan. And once we have that as a concrete document, we ought to be able to kind of commit pen to paper and come up with a number of what we'd be looking for and a whole time frame for that to see about the possibility of bonding, which is going to be necessary for a multi-million-dollar renovation.
right, I agree.
All right, well, Chris, you'll be here tomorrow for that. I'll be here, and Chief, Deputy, Nigel,
Right, Sergeant Rizzuti also.
Sergeant
Yeah.
Rizzuti, hopefully Tony, and then we can quickly move and have the architect consult. And then we should be ready to rock and roll. Okay. Anything else on the budget that's worrisome or needs follow-up or advice or help from the commission?
No, I want to just express my thanks to the commission for supporting us, during the presentation. It's good to have the commission there behind us, and it felt good. We were very uplifted. People here at the police department were very uplifted. Listen, at least we're trying. At least we're speaking out. We desperately need this. This isn't anything luxurious that we're looking for, or an extra toy that we're looking for. This is just to operate a functional police department here in the town of Woodbridge. And I know we at this table truly appreciate your support in this matter. So hopefully we get something done.
I can say again, I know this is redundant, but I think it's worth saying again, it was an outstanding presentation by you both. It was obvious, a tremendous amount of work went into it, and I think it was not just delivered as well as it could be. So we were honored to be there in support.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
sir.
Commissioner.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Great. It was a successful lockdown drill at Beecher Road School recently.
Yes, the deputy chief will give you some information on that.
Commissioners, on January 22nd, a lockdown drill was conducted at Beecher Road School. Members of the Woodbridge Police Department, Woodbridge Volunteer Fire Department, and the Orange Police Department participated. The school's alarm system functions well, and the event was well received. The drill was successful and completed with no issues. I was there for the drill, and they did a great job putting it together. They have a great plan in place. The school was very appreciative that we were able to conduct the drill there.
Great. And meetings with department personnel.
So Deputy Chief Quinn and I have begun meeting with department personnel to gather their input in moving the department forward. Officers have provided us with some ideas that we can consider. We still have quite a few meetings to conduct. Once completed, we can provide you with a comprehensive report of our findings. So what I'm hoping to do is speak with every member of the department, including civilian personnel, and we'll put something together for you. Exactly, you know, what the feeling is, what certain suggestions that we think might work, and other things, you know, that might be helpful just to the department and the community as a whole. So,
Chief, when was the last time you did this?
I don't know if it's ever been done, not before. So this is something new. You know, it's something that I wanted to do, you know, when I was assigned chief. And I think it's in the few interviews that we've conducted, it's been very helpful because it's giving everybody here a voice. It's giving everybody hope, and it's hopefully it'll boost morale. You know, that's important too. And I think, you know, if we do things, you know, as a team, you know, obviously we have a final say in the matter, but if we do things as a team, you know, there's some great ideas out there. Some things I'm not going to think about, or that the deputy chief's not going to think about. And we've heard some great ideas. They're very, very intelligent people that work here, and it's been helpful. So I'm excited speaking with everybody and gathering the information. So we definitively will provide a report to you when we're done.
Good.
I'm building on your question, David, about has this been done before, and I'm also thinking a little bit about conversation I know we've had with some of the training opportunities that might come from the work, the grant that UNH has currently, and I think I saw it was just re-upped.
1.5 million
Great.
for de-escalation training.
And as I understand it, most of the grant money is actually used to pay the salary or the overtime or the regular time for the police officers who are going through the training.
There's two components, as I understand it. The first component is the outreach we've done and sort of all up and down the eastern seaboard. And there's actually eastern seaboard, it goes much farther south than that. We've dominated the East Coast pretty well in terms of just getting the training out there to line serving officers. The second piece, though, is a train-the-trainer model. So the idea would be if and we can discuss this, but if you're interested, there's a lot of steps involved, but I think I would be very excited if we could bring someone from the department who could become a trainer in de-escalation as we are currently providing. And without checking with the commission, I went ahead and discussed this with some people at school. Hope that's okay. And I certainly was going to bring it up because last week's announcement was rather large for us, and I'm sure you all saw the press conference, or I know you already included the article about it. So that is an opportunity, and there are a couple of others that we have as well. But as the chief and deputy chief know, training takes time, and sometimes it can take more time than you think it's going to take. And so we want to approach this deliberately and intelligently with in steps. I think would be the way to do it.
Yeah.
But definitely that is an opportunity we can take advantage of.
Great. I raised that in particular, just wondering whether or not there's anything as you're going through the department interviews with people, whether a further conversation that you, chief and deputy, have with David that might help you not just be good listeners with the department, but to potentially query them on attitudes and feelings towards training opportunities, knowing full well that the order of the day is nationally is all about de-escalation.
Well, that was Congresswoman Laura's main point when she spoke at the press conference was it seems as if this is sort of a no-brainer, that right now in our country there seems to be a lot of ratcheting up, and the whole point of this training is to we need to be bringing it back down, and I think that was a common theme among everyone who spoke there that day. But the training itself, I know a bit about it and how it works. It's not particularly difficult in other words, you don't have to have a bachelor's degree to understand it. You don't have to do a lot of research. There's not a lot of pre-work that needs to be done. But it's, the best part is that it's backed by a fairly large amount of evidence-based research. So, and the trainers, once people go through it, those who are trained and then those who finish the trainer, they're sort of like, this works, and it's kind of a, where has this been all my life type feeling. So, we can definitely, put that in play to the extent that,
Yes,
that it
absolutely.
works.
Yeah.
But I think, as I'm sure you both know, from your vast experience in law enforcement, if the training isn't desired, it will just be a tick the box and move on, right? And so we really want to, finding out those that are thinking, how can this make my job better? How can this make my interactions with the community better? That then assist me in doing what I love doing better, right? It's those who really launch with this stuff. There's no question. So we can definitely.
No, absolutely. We'd be more than welcome to participate. We can talk about it, later.
Yeah.
And we're looking at training. That's one of the things that we're looking here at Woodbridge Police Department is to be a better trained department. Any opportunities that we have. Well, unfortunately, sometimes these opportunities cost money, and we need to have money in our training budget. And what we've instilled here, within a few months is that we also want to reward people who want to be trained, reward good performance with training, with a training course. Use it as that type of thing too, and that's what we've done, and we will continue to do. But de-escalation is a very hot topic in law enforcement, something that we do train in, that we have to train in for our post credits, but the more information, the better, specifically about that. That'd be very, very, very helpful. So, thank you.
Last item on your report, Chief?
Yeah, so that would be the meeting with local business owners, and it's not just business owners. We plan on going to churches, synagogues, and just meeting with the community. The deputy chief and I we've begun meeting with our town stakeholders. Our plan is to continually meet with a number of business owners, school administration, places of worship, and to not only just introduce ourselves, but also to see what their concerns are in the community. Also, if they would like someone to speak to them about crime prevention, what can they do to harden their facility, whether it's with cameras, lighting, things of that sort. We'd like to offer that to them. It's been successful so far. Like we had met with people at the JCC recently, and just in a short meeting there, we determined that our department didn't really know the layout of the JCC per se. So now we're going to meet with their security staff, and our officers are going to go walk the hallways and find out this is where this part of the classroom, this is what they do here. There's a lot of things going on there, but it makes us more well educated as to what we have to do moving forward. So there's a lot that we can learn and a lot that the community can learn. So we're going to provide a list, and we can provide that with each commission meeting of who we spoke to and how it made out.
That would be so helpful for sure. And there's been so much work done by other committees and commissions, 2030, the Economic Development Commission. I think this just fits in so nicely and further helps to give support to the business owners in the lower Woodbridge area. So feeling like it's a good place to do business, that there are local law enforcement, that they feel comfortable and secure. It's great. And I guess the other thing you're making an interesting point about is as you meet with the different business owners or other venues like JCC or like some of the assisted living or nursing homes, their needs, particularly around safety and security, are going to be rather different than the small local businesses. So that's interesting to hear how you're thinking about this. But we look forward to hearing more reporting and hoping that you have a timetable to get to every one of those places, particularly in the lower Woodbridge area.
This will be a work in progress. If we were to hit every place we had to, I think we still have to engage with people. It's just not one and done. You know, even, it's not just in the business community, it's in our neighborhoods. Periodically, you know, talk to people in the neighborhood, stop in the neighborhood. That's what our goal would be anyway. So.
Anything further? Any questions for the chief on any of those topics? Do we routinely ask for approval of the chief's report?
Yeah.
Yeah. Motion, then I will ask for that.
Second.
All in favor? No, thank you. On to personnel matters.
So, with regards to extended absences, the department has one police officer that has been out on a work-related injury that occurred in February of 2025, so it's been 1 year. He's currently being treated for his injuries. His date of return is unknown, and at this point, light duty is not an option. The department also has one dispatcher that has been out on a work-related injury since October of 2025, and she is slated to have surgery in late March, and her date of return is unknown. Concerning new police officer, recent hires and training updates, Officer Brent Zuskin, after completing his field training, he is working independently. Supervisors have reported that he is knowledgeable and doing well. So we're very happy to have him on board. Officer Alex Weiner. Officer Weiner is continuing in the department's field training program. He has progressed to phase 2. Supervisors and field training officers have reported that he is doing well. In addition, Officer Weiner successfully completed the practical skills portion of his emergency medical responder training. So he still needs to take a written examination, but he did pass the practical. With regards to Officer Robert Wong, he's also completed the emergency medical responder training, the practical skills. He also needs to take the written examination, and he will be participating in the department's field training program for another couple of weeks. So he's very happy to be here. I think all 3 officers are very happy to be here, and we're happy to have them, each of them. So, and lastly,
Sorry, Chief, you have one more opening still?
Yeah, we still have one more vacancy, but what we're seeing, this is just an example, you know, with Tony Genovese saying that, you know, our overtime was better this month, that was with just Officer Zuskin, not with the other 2 people. I can only imagine if we were fully staffed, how that number would considerably drop. So that's what I'm hoping, and we're keeping an eyeball on it. With regards to dispatch training update, dispatcher Nicole Toth continues to improve and is near completion of her field training program. Supervisors have advised me that she may be ready to work independently within a couple of weeks. It might be sooner. So her progress reports have all been very positive. So I'm hoping that before next meeting, or maybe well before next meeting, she'll be able to work independently. And once that happens, I'm hoping that brings down the overtime in dispatch. Lastly, with ACO hiring update, the department posted the job offering at town buildings for internal candidates only. That's what we needed to do. No town employee applied. So on February 3rd, the job offering was posted externally, and as of today, we've received 2 applications for animal control officer, and the closing date on that is February 17th. So once that is completed, or once that date comes about, we will be doing interviews in a background investigation. So it's going to be done a little bit differently, and hopefully we have someone in place, I'm hoping sometime in March.
And our personnel subcommittee will get a chance to interview the applicants in the
Yes.
ACO hiring, because the work of the investigation and the background checks and all the screening that gets done before the commission sees it has helped to provide us with great candidates, and the work of the subcommittee, as evidenced by our two recent dispatchers who are both on board, trained up, and fitting in nicely very quickly, is testament to the good work and the coordination between the department and the commission. Thank you.
Yeah, and I will say, with regards to our dispatch, the last group of dispatchers we've hired have been very, very good. They've done a very, very nice job. Dispatcher Shanice Smith, Jasenia Newton-Lewis, Anthony Baradeska, very, very, very good dispatchers. Good personalities, good dispatchers. They're good with the people on the phone. It's been good.
Great.
As far as the ACO, is there like a training period for new people, like with the police and dispatch?
Yeah, there's
And how long
no
is that?
necessarily field training, but they do need to
Working
go
with Jess.
they need to get a little bit of training. It's a lot of on-the-job training type of thing, so.
So
But I
once
think-
hired, they would start right away?
Yeah,
Okay.
they would start right away. But these applicants that we have right now, the two that we have, are already certified ACOs
Okay.
from other agencies.
So if there are any other old business, new business that we haven't, and before we close, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, good.
I just wanted to sort of summarize a couple of things in particular. First of all, thank you both, I think all three of you, for all the good work. You've certainly kept the commission involved and informed, and we're grateful for all of that. I do want to just be sure we're on the same page for next month, and a couple of things to be sure we do follow up on the agenda. One of which is, hopefully we have something to report on our building work group. And we'll take you up on the offer of keeping us informed on how things are going, meeting with the business owners, etc. What I am particularly also interested in, and I think, Chief, we've talked about this during the agenda planning, maybe next month would be a good month to really do a presentation so that the commission, and for that matter, any of the public who chooses to watch, either come to the meeting or watch on Channel 79, learns about the Trust Act, the modifications that have happened through the years, that the state of Connecticut continues to try and sort of find the right balance of how to find the defining lines between federal government, state government, local government, when it comes to these important policing matters, particularly as it has been an issue relating to the whole immigration process. And we'd welcome learning about that more, hearing how you're thinking about that, how the officers are receiving that, being trained in it, what the latest legislation is, etc. And in some way, it sort of dovetails so nicely into the conversation we had earlier and the offer from David Schroeder about UNH's training grant. I think those were my follow-up issues. All right?
Yeah.
Sound good? That being the case, then I would take a motion to adjourn the commission meeting.
Motion?
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. And now we can go right into the Woodbridge Traffic Authority. The meeting of Monday, February 9th. It's now 5:02. I don't see anybody here for public comment. Did we have any correspondence from anybody?
Except for the request for a sign, but that was it.
So we actually had the introduction of the traffic committee members at our last meeting, and thank you so much for making that happen. I know I did, and I'm sure others on the commission now have a good sense of how we work cooperatively between the traffic committee, traffic authority, police department, and it sounded like we were all on the same page in terms of what the challenges were. And it really is mostly about road safety.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of issues on traffic matters, signs specifically. I'll turn it over to you, Chief.
Well, the first issue we have is a request for a sign on South Bradley Road, no parking commercial vehicle overnight hours. So we've had a vehicle, we've had a local resident has made complaints about a large box truck that is parking at the West River Field, and not parking on the roadway, but parking on town-owned dirt area. And it's an eyesore. He's made a complaint about it. So the town, through a town ordinance, can put a sign up there to say no parking on town property, or any no parking of commercial vehicles on town property. And we could eliminate that problem by just doing that. That's what we've learned. The issue is, in that West River area, is that when there is a snowstorm, the people that reside in that area have no place to park. When we put a parking ban in there, the roads are thin, the plows can't get through. So a lot of people come to West River and they put their cars in that area. So we don't want to eliminate parking for everybody. This is really specifically that someone who lives in the Metler Street area is parking a large box truck that's an eyesore that just sits in front of the field there. So it's just a matter of us approving a sign to put no commercial vehicles parked on town property, which I don't think is a bad idea, because I don't think even on other town property would we want a box truck parked on Acorn
Right.
Fields or park over here in Center Road. Probably wouldn't want that.
Have you identified the owner of the truck?
Yes.
Okay, and reached out to?
We did.
That's specific overnight.
Yeah, specifically overnight. That's the thing, overnight parker.
So what do people who either have or own, or rent, or lease these big box trucks when they're not on the road, what are their opportunities to house them?
Yeah, well, one thing is they could always make an agreement with a local business or whatever on private property, and they could ask, could I park there for probably a fee, I would imagine. It's just not a good precedent to park on town property with these types of things.
Yeah.
Because I think we would see that, it wouldn't go over well, having big tractor trailers all over the place. So that's really the only, the only thing that we can do, like especially down in that area, you couldn't have, these trucks can't park on the street. There's no place to park, so they can't park on town property. So I don't really know of any other solutions as to where they can park.
Has the traffic committee weighed in on this?
No.
No. Do they
No,
need to?
no, not really.
It's a police matter?
Yeah, I think so. So it's just a matter of us approving a sign for no commercial vehicles overnight there at the West River Field on town property. And then we can notify the owner of the truck.
They would have to make the signs first, and then they can post them in a day once they come in, but we have to approve it, get the signs made. I don't know the time frame on that, but it might take a week or two, and then it could be posted.
But only commercial vehicles, this will
That's correct.
allow the local residents to continue to park.
Yeah,
if they have
they
to.
need to put their cars there just for the fact that they
Right,
have
right.
no place, and there's a lot of them.
So am I correct in saying that this commission, that the traffic authority is the approving or disapproving body for having this ordinance become part of the way we do business in Woodbridge?
Yes.
Yes.
Anybody have any particular thoughts on the
No, I
problem?
think it's a good idea,
agree.
alleviate a problem they have.
I think it makes sense. I mean, the residents need some place to park in times of snow emergency, et cetera. So that's a priority to honor.
So we need a motion.
I guess we need a motion. I'm still just thinking how to try and be helpful to the resident who's the owner of a commercial vehicle. That's why I asked the question, how do other towns handle this? I appreciate the suggestion of they have to figure out how to lease space that's going to work for them. There's no other options or contacting other small towns to ask how they.
We could. We
I don't mean to
we
be
could reach
busy
out.
work for you, but
No, but we could reach out and see how other places handle it.
And did you issue a warning to the owner?
Right now, we told them to get it off of town property and to put it on the roadway. And even though it's on the roadway, it's still, it's still
Right,
a
still a
big
problem.
truck and it's big eyesores. It's like,
Yeah.
what's the difference if you lived on South Bradley or someone had a big box truck or a tractor trailer and parked it on Rimmon Road? I mean, people aren't gonna be happy about it.
So currently, we have an ordinance that bans the parking of commercial vehicles on any highway, which is the roadway of the town during overnight hours. So consequently, the owner of the vehicle has said, oh, okay, then I will now put it off of the roadway onto this dirt area. So now it's on town property, but it's off of the roadway. So that takes away the ordinance that bans that. So that's why,
It addresses the letter of the ordinance, but not the spirit.
correct.
The spirit of the ordinance is to keep panel trucks out of.
Yeah, this is a large vehicle, it's the size of something you'd move your house with. We have a picture of it actually, it helps.
It's a whopper, huh?
Yeah, sure. And this is just to give you a visual of the area.
It's also advertising something, which is a separate issue.
Right here.
uh-huh,
So all these houses around it.
yeah.
Want to give it one more month or just do something now?
I think we can move on this. I just hope it sounds like everybody's been very thoughtful and communicating with the truck owner, is a Woodbridge resident, so insofar as we cannot alienate that person and demonstrate that we've been thoughtful and fair and working cooperatively, and it sure sounds like we have been, so that's the good news. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And I appreciate you reading the existing ordinance and what we'll be modifying or adding to. And the pictures certainly all helped as we think about this. So I'll entertain a motion to include an additional ordinance surrounding no parking of commercial vehicles on town property overnight.
So it's all town property, not just South Bradley?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. And down in Lower Woodbridge, there was a gentleman on Raymond Road who had the unique circumstance.
Yes.
And the handicap sign, we're good on
So
that now?
our last meeting's on 1/12. The very next day, I contacted Public Works. They responded there the very next day, and the sign was up within a matter of hours, and now that sign has been posted.
Great. And the blind driveway sign on North Gracebrook Road, I think there may be more progress in thinking about this, because it felt like my recollection is the discussion was there are so many residents in Woodbridge who'd say, that's me,
Right.
that it didn't feel like we were jumping at racing to approve this.
Yeah, we didn't, the traffic committee did not, or they haven't reported back to me that they've actually reviewed the sign, but, you know, I agree with the commission in that this can open up a can of worms because there's probably a lot of people who think this, and we're gonna be putting these signs up all over the place. We took a ride up there, it doesn't look to be that bad of an area. So.
It's a pretty straight area.
It seems
It's really not a corner there.
it seems like it is, so
Yeah.
I think probably not.
If there's no further business, then for the traffic authority.
Well, just,
sorry.
so, yeah, what's going on with the rumble strips at Perkins Road?
Haven't heard anything about that. We were gonna look into pricing for the rumble strips at Public Works, so.
I spoke with Public Works, and the only comparison they could give me at this time was they had put rumble strips on the center line of some roads, and it's roughly $5,000 per mile to have that done. They weren't sure what a price would be to have a company come in and cut the road and, like, let's say the shape of a crosswalk to have that sort of shape. They did say that to buy something that they could bolt to the pavement would not be practical with plows.
Right.
And the concern would be that they would just get ripped up immediately when the plows come through. So it'd be okay for, let's say, 3/4 of the year, but then they gotta plow. So that's why they said, in their opinion, to do it, we'd have to mill. Caveat to that is, if the road is not in good shape, meaning if it has already existing potholes or cracks or things of that nature, has been sealed with the sealant, milling that might not be practical. So to do it, it might require first paving the road, then putting in rumble strips. So there's a lot to this. It could get quite expensive depending on what it is. So these are all things we have to consider. And you can't just say, give me a set price on this, because it would be specific to any place you may put them.
Right, okay. So it's
And
still
the other
being
issue
looked
is that it's such a small area that really needs the rumble strip. To get milling equipment and have a company come down to say that they're gonna take their time and drive from here to there and just mill this little piece, it's
For
gonna
a
be
small job,
expensive.
yeah.
Be difficult. But we're looking into a few other things. What I was thinking about is kind of when you get off the highway. I don't know if you get off, when you're driving on 95 and you get off to a rest area, you just see those strips, they're not bolted down.
Just painted, yeah.
They're almost like they're
Painted
painted,
stripes,
yeah.
yeah.
There has to be, we have to investigate to see what other products are out there. Can't have the bolted in the things that for the plow. But this here just seemed like it was very subtle, just very subtle, like it was like heavy paint
Right.
or something like that. So we have to reach out to DOT, probably state DOT, see what those are.
Okay, good.
We'll get back to you.
Thank you for reminding us about that. All right, if there's nothing further for traffic authority, I entertain a motion to end the meeting.
Motion.
Second, all in favor? Thank you all very much. Thank you.